Welcome in everybody to another daily Japanese study video where I study Japanese every single day and I bring you and Twitch along for the ride. Today, it is our 365th daily Japanese study video. That's one for every single day of the year, and since a couple of them we split into two parts, that includes loop years. So, I figured let's take a look at all of the tools we've used over the course of this year, kind of look back at some of the first videos we did, and also kind of talk about if I were to start over, would I change my approach from the get-go? So let's do that. Let's have some fun with this. So obviously, the one thing that I've used the most throughout all of it is a good dictionary website in Jisho. One, dictionary, but two, has a lot of great stuff in it. A lot of great ways to search. You can draw it if you happen to have your phone out. You can take out a little stylus and draw on your phone to do it. Lots of ways of looking it up. Jisho was such a good tool. Yeah, I would still 100% use Jisho. And I continue to use Jisho even up to today. Now, the next one, I'm always kind of like, about it, because sometimes DeepL just says the wrong thing. There is no great, perfect, at least that I have found so far, translation website. Maybe you have a good one that you can recommend for folks watching this later. I will gladly put that in the like a pinned comment or something. But it's been good to double check my internal way of translating what I'm reading. Although to be fair, you really shouldn't be translating. You should be reading. You should be understanding, hopefully in that language, right? Speaking of understanding, one of the first things that we did outside of just reading and playing games was the conjugation drills. So this was Don's Japanese conjugation drill. I still like it quite a bit. We did find another one very recently that we've been doing on the streams that has been pretty good. The main issue with this was that it doesn't have a lot of words in it. We found one that was called Don's Improved Conjugation Drill, but it would occasionally get stuff wrong, and I don't like learning from something that gets things wrong all that often. So we did use this one for a bit. It did actually do a pretty good job. I don't think I ever had anything straight up wrong in this version of it. The one we're currently using, if we go to my study Japanese folder that is 1,000 tabs big, is this one called from oopstudio.com, Perform the Conjugation, which lets you do a bunch of different stuff inside of here. We haven't really used it a ton. I kind of use it for like 5 minutes as a like wake the brain up thing. I do kind of recommend this if you're trying to get your brain thinking about the conjugation. The main issue with this, of course, is you look at an English word and then try to think how that English word applies to the Japanese word, which is not great. I don't know all of the words for, form, positive, conjugation, polite, past, negative. Like, I don't know all of those in Japanese. So even if it was all Japanese, I wouldn't get it then either. So that is a downside of this type of thing. But it is good practice conjugating, especially if you're not writing and speaking often and you're just reading. You don't actively do a lot of conjugation in that. So I do think this is a good thing, and I am still currently doing it, So we found this one, so I would still do this. I have started WaniKani recently, and it is quite humorous. The level that I'm at right now in it, because I literally just began it less than a full week ago. So it's still very much teaching me radicals like stick, cross, and things like that. But on that topic of kanji, this studykanji.net kanji quiz, I've used this quite a bit. It is a pretty good tool for going, okay, here's a kanji, what does it mean? Or maybe, how is it pronounced, you know? So you have different options inside of there. And if you get it right, it puts it up here. And then if you get it wrong, it says, oh, here's what it is. Here's some words that use that kanji. I honestly want to get back to this and use it more. I think my kanji is definitely suffering because I don't focus on it as much as I should. I am doing things to try to alleviate that, like I said, starting Wani Kani. But I've started using a lot more just kanji in the next thing we'll talk about, which of course is something that I use every single day and I put stuff into every single day, Anki. And that kind of leads into Yomitan here. I have had hundreds of different decks throughout this year of different types, and like they have all eventually get put into this one, where it's just Nihongo no Goi, where it's just like, hey, it's Japanese language vocabulary, essentially. Is this the right way of writing that? I've literally never checked. I looked up the word vocabulary once. But, you know, like, having spaced repetition has been amazing and super, super useful. I highly recommend Anki. I've used it well before trying to learn Japanese. I've made decks for GeoGuessr metas. I've made decks back when I was learning Spanish, which I do need to get back into so I don't fully lose that. Because, oh boy, it's going fast. But I highly, highly, highly recommend Anki, especially with a tool like Yomitan that we set up not that long ago. And this is one of the few things that I would say, if I could go back to the very beginning of all of this, I would start with this installed on my computer and actually use it. So Yomitan here lets us go to a page that has Japanese on it and actually press a button on the keyboard to say, this is what it is. Here's a bunch of words that it could be. Here's the one we think it is. And you can go and let it do things for you. So currently, let's see, is it this one? Options? Yeah, options here. Like down towards the bottom here. Speaking of Anki, enable Anki integration. So boop, right there. Card types. This is where I have my cards set up. So I know sentences right here. You know, that's where all of this is coming from. Expression, meaning, reading, it fills this in for me, so I don't have to do that when I'm on a site like NHK NewsWeb Easy, which is another thing that we've been using a lot. I do think that we're starting to get to the point where NHK NewsWeb Easy, we're not gaining as many new words as we used to, which is why recently we've shifted the focus to reading manga and playing games in Japanese like Shin-chan and Yotsuba currently. It is definitely a great spot for folks that are just starting, because sometimes the articles will be very, very, very short, you know? There might not be much to them at all. So if let's see, click on this one for example. This is 3 sentences. This article is 3 sentences. And so you can kind of look through it. It lets you turn off the furigana, lets you turn on and off the color coding for names, so you can't get hints that way, right? So it's a great tool, especially when paired with something like Yomitan when you're first starting out. I really do wish that I had started with trying to read one article on NHK Newsweb Easy from the get-go. I think that that would have been very useful to me starting out. So if I could go back, I'd install Yomitan day one, make sure that I'm using it to help make flashcards, and not overload it though. That's the one thing with flashcards. I can't have like 3,000 cards for review. If it gets over 200, I start freaking out, and which it has a couple of times when I've gone on vacations. So, I would definitely recommend using this from the get-go to just start getting new words, and getting exposed to things that you're not going to come across if you're not branching out the types of things that you're reading. So, like, even if it's something political or something about accidents, or they have a lot of fluff pieces in here that you're like, okay, yet another one about how hot summer is or whatnot, So there's lots of things on here to learn from. On that same note, a site that I want to get back into using a bit more are any spot where I can read a book, right? Where you can just sit down and kind of work through something. Apparently they got a bunch of new ones right here. So who knows? I might jump into one of these soon. So here we have a level 1 about Oba-chan ga inai. Okay. See, that's cute. Then we got a little one right here that we can read for free. So we got read for free up there. And this lets you go through and read books. It's very useful. They have them at all sorts of reading levels. This one is definitely very, very early on. And look, like there's a lot going on here. Chihiro wa Oba-san to Oba-san to Oba-chan no ie ni kimashita. So he came to Oba-chan's house, right? It's nice little stuff like that. Obviously, they're not all that easy, but some of them are way harder, some of them are easy. There's something on tadoku.org here for folks of just about any level. There are ones you can buy, but of course there are these free ones for learners. It's really good. And I have no idea what these clubs are. Maybe I should be doing stuff like that. Who knows? Now, I do think it will be fun to kind of look at where we started. So I wanted to see episode 1 here. This is in a game that you can currently hear in the background, because we're going to hop into it, called Shashingo. I wanted to try it because it looked neat. You take pictures of stuff and it says, here's the word for that, right? So let's take a quick peek at this. I'm going to hide my big dumb face so you can look at my big dumb face, but over there. Sure. All right, let's try this again. So I just recorded like a 15-minute video, and then I realized that I was getting no mic levels because apparently it decided to just reset my mic to default, which... Man, I started out strong here. I didn't know how to stop a video. Now, to be fair, this daily Japanese study video is not the first video we did studying Japanese on the channel. We have a bunch prior to this that was Let's Play Shashingo as its own video, Anki as its own video. Daily Japanese Study is when we said, you know what, let's just combine all of our learning methods into one thing. Mike, for some reason. Weird, I know. I actually said the English equivalent not that long ago. Taksan is a lot. There is a lot of something. Taksan. So takusan jidou hanbaiki desu. A lot of vending machines. There is a lot of vending machines. Yasui. Yasui, it's the opposite of takai. Takai means expensive. Yasui means cheap. So as far as an adjective goes, yasui. This is fun. This is fun. So I just did. Oh, I see. So I didn't even look around. I just did the quiz on it. Okay. So baste, oriru, matsu, tochaku. This is fun. And then after that, of course, we hopped into Anki. Bolsokodoro. Wow. I haven't seen that in a long, long time, which makes sense. Highway is definitely an old word for me. Well, that's really fun. So that was 1 year ago. Eventually, we got tired of just doing the same old, and we hopped into Shinchan, which we still haven't finished. When you're going at the pace I'm going, any game's a long game. But it's definitely a struggle occasionally because they use a lot of colloquialisms. It's also a lot of just people talking to each other. And when people talk, they don't talk like a dictionary, right? So like, それは can become それや, and things like that, which you don't recognize. You look for them. You try to be like, what is それや? And you look it up in a dictionary, and the dictionary's like, that's not a word. What are you doing? It's like, or it tells you one word, and it definitely isn't that. And you're like, that does not make sense in context. It can't be that. So we then hopped into things like Shinchan, Sticker Tail, which we did get through. But I want to take the rest of this video to kind of just hop in to Shishingo here. Oh, that's so blue. And kind of take a quick stroll around, kind of like memory lane here. This was, like I said, the very first thing that we were doing on this channel with Japanese learning. So we have our little kind of, what is this? Would you call this an alleyway? I guess it's well, it has businesses on it, so maybe it's not an alleyway, but we have our shitsugaiki, a little spot to come out drinking and whatnot. So the way this worked, right, was you pulled out your camera and you focused on something, and when you took the picture, it would tell you the word for it. So here we have some jidou hanbaiki, some vending machines. And then you'd hear it, and then you could say whether you did or didn't want to save the card. In this case, we don't. And it would give you the ability to go in and not only practice it, but they'd also let you flip it and give you 3 words related to it. Now, a lot of them repeat. So let's see if we can find any repeats on the first page here. Probably not, but we'll see. Go down to Neko and Zol. Let's see. Do we have any? Warui in Tonoshi Mokusei Benri. Oh, we do. We have Benri right here and Benri. So you can see they do repeat, but there's a lot of them. Not an insane amount. I will say the main thing I can say against Shishingo is, while it is a nice dense area, it doesn't have like everything in the area. And I really do wish you could go inside something. So does it, like, I don't know if door is one, like door or model, Let's see. No, model's not one. So, like, it's definitely missing stuff that you can see. And I do think it'd be nice if you could go into something here. It is not in active development as far as I know. They're not doing any like expansions to it. I think the developers already like shown stuff from their next game, if not released one. I was literally following them for this, so but would I recommend folks who are just starting out to take a poke at this? I really would, especially because of this stuff over here. So there's also like a complete, hey, here's all the hiragana, here's all the katakana, here's the hiragana with dokten, here's the katakana with dokten. What about handokten? And so on and so forth. But even on that, all the way at the bottom, they essentially have like the first 2 chapters of Genki in here. With like things actually, you know, but they have all of this in here as well. It's a super, super dense game. Unfortunately, I do think that it could use just a little bit more, you know, just a little bit more. You know what? For fun, let's see. Not that. How do I do the quiz again? Fine mode? Oh, no. Not fine mode. Quiz mode. Quiz mode focused. Random. Okay. 10. Okay. Pipe. And then we have arao, tsumaranai, and nagai. So we go in here and say nagai is long, and to wash, and boring. I guess a pipe is boring. Sure. Arao. So you can see, hey, it's 3 words related to that. Super fun. Okay. Megane, we have glasses. Miru, to look. Harui, bright. Kakeru, kind of to wear. Kakeru is, it means everything, right? So, alright, there you go. To see, to look, to wear, lightweight. Wonderful. Awesome. Okay, Inu, we've got a dog here. Kao, fua fua, naderu. So, fua fua is fluffy. Kao, to own a pet, and naderu, to pet, to stroke. So, to pet a dog, ino o naderu. この犬はふわふわだな。You know, so that's fun. Very, very fun. Okay, you've been okay. Have you been okay? You ask in a letter that I send to your mailbox. That was my mimetic for you being okay. So we have iroiro, morao, and okuru. So okuru. Oh, if I press A, by the way. Okuru, iroiro, morau. We got, you know, they say them for you. So it's really nice. And you can turn off the furigana if you want. You can turn off the English. You can turn off and on a bunch of stuff, whether you want to see kanji or not. So let's go up here and switch it to also marao, to receive, okuru, to send, iroiro. Oh, this is very fun. Tamago, egg, right? Waru, yureru, marui. Ooh. Waru, yureru, and warui. So, waru, to break, yureru, to boil, marui, round. Very fun. Was fair adjustment machine. Sonyu suru, rokin, and harao. So harao, I've seen it a lot when we were talking about minimum wage, you know. So fair, rokin, fair, and to insert, which if we look, Sonya suru. We can see enter in there. So all of that makes sense. Sonya suru. I do think it would be fun to do this occasionally as a warm-up on stream. And try to like make sentences with all of the words on here. So we have nomimono, a drink. Sosogu, nomu, sawayaka. So,
爽やか飲む注ぐ
very fun. So, sosogu to pour, nomu to drink, and sawayaka is refreshing and cool. Lovely. Oh, this has been fun. Kohi, nomu again. Okiru, and it helps me with that, right? And atsui. Unfortunately, a lot of the time it is atsugiru for me, because I have nikolajita. For sure. For sure. Nikolajita is cat's tongue. It means you're sensitive to hot things. Atsui is hot. Wait, get up and to drink. So, atsugiru is too hot. And a lot of times it is. Okay. Obishopu. So we have tsukuru, kumitateru, and shumi. 僕の趣味は毎日に日本語を勉強します。Okay, so 趣味 hobby, 組み立てる to assemble, to put together, and 作る is to make. Oop, make. There we go. This is very fun. Panya is a bakery. Panya, erabu, yaku, and chumonsuru. So let's start at chumonsuru. Chumonsuru, right, to order. Then yaku is to bake, to fry, to roast. Like so many different types of cooking, but in this case we're talking about baking the bread. And once they've baked all the bread, we are going to have to erabu, to choose, to bake, to fry, and to order. So パン屋でたくさんパンあります。どんなパンを選ぶ Right? Oh, God, so fun. Okay. Hey, and there we go. Hey, we did it. We finished the quiz mode. Lots of really, really neat things here. Like, a lot of things are words, right? So we have, right here, we have full advertisement, right? No. Yeah, exit. We can do noto pasokon.
ノートパソコン
Right? 冷蔵庫
冷蔵
refrigerator.
庫
You know, very neat. Like, this utility box isn't a word, right? That's not a word. You can't take a picture of the leaf falling, which would be neat, because then we'd get hop on there. You know? I do still recommend it. Well, that was a nice, fun kind of trip down memory lane of the different ways that we've been studying. What about all of you? What have been your favorite tools to use? Are there any that I haven't touched that you're like, oh, you gotta try it? Like I have tried quite a bit over the years, I will say. And I think the only thing that's really worked is being consistent. And that's why we are doing these daily Japanese study videos, because otherwise I wouldn't be consistent. I'd fall off. And by making it a video, I'm holding myself to it. So, with that, itsumo arigatou gozaimasu. As always, thank you so much. Good luck with your studies. And I hope to see you again tomorrow for an actual daily study video. I'll see you then. Bye.